So, let me tell you, the winner is Fireworks Factory. And we're here to celebrate the release of Fireworks Factory.
Fireworks Factory.
It's Fireworks Factory. Please big up our man, Fireworks Factory. So, this is Lakeway back-to-back Fireworks Factory. Like, whoa, definitely the One More Thing spirit. So, Fireworks Factory, you are the winner. I've already been in touch with you. In fact, I'm going to interview you in 28 minutes' time. This is Fireworks Factory. He was on the last show as well and won a competition with us and will be playing with us at Big Love Festival. Shout out Fireworks Factory. Stepping up, stepping in, we have Fireworks Factory in the building. Hey! Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the One More Thing podcast. I know I say every episode is special because I really believe it is, and the person that I'm interviewing is very special. But on this occasion, it is exceptionally special. This podcast marks exactly a year from when I first spoke to Fireworks Factory. He was the winner in our Mixmas competition, a competition which I set up quite spur of the moment, really, just wondering which ways or how I could get more people involved in One More Thing and drum up a little bit of interest and activity and link with more kindred spirits. I had no idea what it would lead to. Max, Fireworks Factory, has become an integral member of the One More Thing family. He's become a friend of mine, and he's a really, really inspiring and talented and lovely person. I never, ever, ever could have forecast meeting someone as cool and as fitted with the One More Thing spirit as Max when I launched the competition. It's beyond any expectations. But as I explained in this podcast with him, most of the cool things that have happened to me since launching One More Thing have all been beyond expectations and not possibly forecast. And this in particular, and I thought I'd acknowledge or celebrate, mark this year of Fireworks Factory being on One More Thing with a podcast where we look back over the entire year. It's a unique situation, as it is with everybody who works with me on the label. There's a lot of unique relationships where we're growing together as a new label and as young emergent artists. But with Max in particular, because he won a DJ competition and because I came from DJ competitions years and years and years ago, I'm really, really buzzed off them that this feels really special. The prize was just to win a set at a party of ours. In fact, I stipulated that it wasn't going to be at a festival takeover because we'd done quite a few big festival takeovers that previous year. It turned out it was at a festival takeover. It was our only festival takeover, and it was the most amazing day that we had, really, I think, as a brand this summer at Big Love Festival, where he didn't do a warm-up set, which is what a normal DJ competition prize would be. He played the closing set and absolutely smashed it. So yeah, loads of other things have happened as well. We've released his debut single and then another single, and there's plenty more to come. And yeah, it's just been an amazing year that neither he or I or anyone involved in One More Thing could have possibly predicted. If you have entered the Mixmas competition this year, Max is helping me pick a winner, and we'll be announcing that on the 29th of December. In the meantime, please enjoy this extended conversation recorded in Max Fireworks Factory studio, where we look back in detail over the year that we've had. And I think this is great, especially if you're a new emergent artist. There's lots of stuff that you will resonate with because this is mapping out Max's journey as a new artist and the things that he's learned and the experiences that he's had, such as his first release, playing at festivals for the first time, and all of those kind of things which can really cause lots and lots of overthinking for any creative individual trying to make their mark in the scene, especially at the moment. I'm really, really, really proud of this interview and everything that we've achieved and all the music that we've released. This is the last podcast that One More Thing is putting out for 2025. Please enjoy it and enjoy the festive break. Tune in. If you're listening to this in real time, please tune in on the 29th of December and find out who we have picked for Mixmas winners. Because there are runners-up as well for 2025. In the meantime, please get to know Fireworks Factory and enjoy some of his journey that he's had so far.
One more thing.
I'm just warming you up. I'm giving you a compliment to warm you up.
I appreciate that.
Yo, what's going on? It's One More Thing, and we've got a really, really interesting situation right here. I'm with Fireworks Factory, in case you hadn't noticed, and we're about to look over a really focused period of time, the last 12 months, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
But generally, I mean, I want to get a little bit more about your origin story, but we've been on a trip for the last year. I don't think either of us, this time last year, we didn't know each other. You were aware of One More Thing through Lou. I wasn't aware of you yet or anything like that. Now we've released your music, we've done loads and loads of cool stuff that we're going to go through. It's quite a mad scenario, really, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm so happy that it happened, to be honest.
Cool. I mean, how are you? Like, literally yesterday, in terms of context of like filming this, yesterday we just dropped your second single. So how has that all been, and how are you right at this moment?
Yeah, it's been great, actually. I think normally release days are a bit of a struggle because you just get into the mood of like obsessing over metrics and stuff. But this time it's just been chill, you know. Got some good feedback. It's been nice. Been trying not to sweat it too much. Got way overstimulated yesterday, but like nothing too bad, really.
Yeah, this is it. I'm still getting used to it now. I think this is the 18th release, like proper commercial release. And I'm getting better at not expecting a reaction straight away. And it's that kind of anticlimax because you're working towards something. And then the release day is the jump. It's not the landing. We're free falling at the moment. I think for the first kind of few weeks of new music coming out, we're on a bungee jump and we haven't snapped back up yet, really, isn't it? We're just in that kind of like, right, let's see what happens. And you can't tell. And instead of seeing that as an anticlimax, it's embracing the thrill of not knowing, I think, really. I
think it definitely helps to be working on the next thing as well. So you sort of mentally moved on, and it makes it a bit more of a nice process. Like, oh, this is something I was doing a little while ago, and now people are like, you know, getting into it, and that's really nice. Yeah. But I don't feel like, oh my god, this is me. Like everyone's seeing me right now. Like, it's like my head is already somewhere else, which is quite a good thing to have, I think. Yeah, definitely. And it's that kind of overlap of projects that's keeping you kind of excited, and then almost you don't quite realise how much work you put into things until it comes out or anything, because you've almost you've moved on from particular tunes, not in a bad way or kind of disassociated from them, but you're constantly moving and progressing as an artist. So it's almost nice when music does come out because you're reminded of where you were at a little while ago. Yeah, for sure. It's really nice to have that sort of progress. Like when you're not releasing stuff, it feels like everything is just in progress the whole time. And then you actually release stuff, you're just like, okay, well, this could have been better by doing this, and this, but like, I'm on to the next thing and I'm free from it, and that's such a nice feeling.
Yeah, totally. So both of these tracks were inspired by Lockdown, Infinite Crash and Rave and Back to You, and we're going to get into them in a bit. But I mean, just that very nature of tracks being inspired by Lockdown is kind of evident that you've been doing this for some time. And I mean, that's not even like half of your kind of production journey going back to 2020 odd or anything like that. You've been writing, you've been creating as a musician, as a songwriter, as a singer for some time, and I wanted to get a flavour of that. I actually, like, when I envisioned this interview, I thought we'd be sitting by a ghetto blaster and actually listening to some old tracks of yours. Still haven't heard them now because we're busy setting up, and maybe you've just kind of quietly thought, oh yeah, he hasn't asked to play those early tunes.
I forgot about that, actually. So,
but I am interested in that because you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you've written lyrics and stuff like that, so I'm really interested in those really early experiments that you did, in those early endeavours as a young artist, where you were at. What was the foundation that has led us to here?
I don't know. There was a lot of stuff before this time. I guess it was sort of me being into more indie influences, I would say, like not necessarily like indie rock, but some of that, and just a lot of stuff that was coming out between like the 2000s and like early 2010s. I was like quite inspired by, and yeah, but I didn't play any instruments, so just had to learn to work with synths and stuff, and I think that inspired a lot of the sound and sort of sound design process, and I was using my own vocals in that. There was a time when I was using my vocals a lot, and then there was a few years where I just literally couldn't write any lyrics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that writer's block, or just where you were at in life, or mentally, or confidence-wise, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I didn't really know what to say. And I feel like I still don't, but like, it's just learned to blag it a bit.
Yeah. It's really weird kind of listening to lyrics, because then whenever I ask a songwriter about lyrics, most of the time I'm a bit disappointed. It's like, I collect lines, I collect little things in a notepad, and I kind of put them together and they kind of work. And sometimes like you're looking for a deeper meaning in somebody's lyrics when it's not that deep. It just kind of works in a really nice way and stuff like that. And I think it's really interesting kind of knowing where lyrics are coming from and whether people are actually been feeling themselves as a songwriter or not, or like you say, just kind of faking it until you make it. Or
but you know what it is, Dave? Sometimes it is that deep, but people don't always want to admit to it.
I've been lied to all this time. Damn you, songwriters.
I can't speak for everyone, but like, I know I wouldn't necessarily want to reveal every little influence.
No.
Sometimes it's just a feeling as well. It's a strong feeling, but it's like a feeling.
Yeah. So you had a little period where you weren't writing so many lyrics or singing so much, and during this point, was this where you were learning how to produce and experimenting on a DAW and stuff like that, and getting into electronic production?
So I was always producing, but I didn't do the kind of producing that you would really call like electronic music production for a while. I was just sort of playing around. hard to know how to describe it, really. Yeah, and then I started getting into drum and bass like about halfway through that process, and I was like, right, this is actually something that I want to make, but it sounded so different at the time to the kind of stuff I was making. So there was a bit of a period of like kind of crossover between those two styles, and yeah, it took me quite a while to like actually learn how to do it on a technical level. And I think during that time it was also hard to produce anything new, because I was a bit like, I don't really know what I want to make right now.
Yeah. So instead of just having fun and experimenting, you kind of knew what direction you wanted to go in, but also knew that you didn't quite have the skills or the know-how to get you there. So
yeah,
it almost kind of creates a block in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I knew what I wanted to do was like drum and bass, but more in line with what I was doing before. I didn't want to give that up, because I feel like there's something really cool about being a little bit of an outsider to a scene. It's like just coming from like a different genre with different expectations and stuff, like, then I feel like that's the best way to get into a different genre is if you sort of if you still got the mindset of another genre you go in with
100%.
it, because then you're gonna, yeah. So that was something I very consciously wanted to do. I was like, especially because I wasn't really sure what my sound should be, and I was like, I actually really like the sound of these synths and like drums and stuff in drum and bass. I feel they sound really just huge and, you know, refined, but also expressive and just like loaded with, yeah.
Okay. And at some point, because it's really clear that you didn't rush any of these productions out, because they really pop. And the first time I heard them was on the mix that you sent. The first time that we linked was a DJ competition, which I announced, I think, on the 1st of December last year, Mixmas. I can't remember at what point. If I was really studious, I would have looked up the date that I actually received your mix. But I can remember listening to it loads of different times, because I can remember being quite frustrated because my team said that they would listen to loads of mixes and help me judge it, and suddenly everybody was really busy. And
oh yeah, that's
really
getting me this year. I'm going to be the one saying, sorry Dave, I can only listen to 5 seconds. No.
But I mean, I was listening to yours. Yeah, because we'll get to this year's Mixmas, which you're very much part of. Like, you are Mr. Mixmas now. Like,
Mr. Mixmas.
Mr. Mixmas.
Father Mixmas.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I can remember the different places and locations that I was when I was listening to your mix, especially when I boiled it down to the last 5, and it's like, I've really got to make a clear decision. But I think I kind of knew it was going to be you. for 3 different reasons. One, and I listened to your mix on the way to drive here today to remind myself. One, you start with a drum track. You don't start with a big lavish intro or anything epic. Start with drums, which is something that Randall would do. So it's instantly like, all right, okay, I think that's a bit of a power flex sometimes. It's like, I've got such wicked tunes, I don't even need to start with a big euphoric intro or anything. I was going to start with a kick drum. And I think that's really cool. So that got me like, all right, and it was 4/4, it was hardcore and stuff like that. There was the mix with, and I still can't remember their name. It's not K-pop. What is it? It's like
with the one with Caro.
Caro, that was it. I was almost about to start singing it. And if you had just left it 10 seconds, I just
saved you that.
with Hard Noise, and that I had to keep rewinding that, just like what? Because you let them play for so long. But then the third thing was realising that they were your productions. And for a while I couldn't remember. It's like, how did I know they were your productions? We hadn't spoken at that stage and you hadn't released anything. You had released one song on a compilation, but it's because you had your demos on the SoundCloud. So I heard tracks like Rainbows. Is it Rainbow or Rainbows?
Rainbow.
Rainbow.
Although,
and then,
might change.
and then there was like, kind of Can't Stand the Rain and Breaking Gemstones. They were all in the mix. And knowing that you produced as well, and your voice as a consistency throughout the mix, I think that's what brought it all together. A lot of it without me realising, I did a lot of digging once I decided that you were the winner and I was going to interview you. But I think now in hindsight, looking back, these were the things that kind of made your mix stand out over anything else. There was a lot going on in there. It was really multi-genre, full of ideas, full of risky mixes, but also your own productions and your own voice. That's what held it together, I think. What are your memories of entering the competition?
I mean, I wasn't expecting to have the year that we had. This has been pretty unreal, to be honest. Like, I think especially, well, just to talk about the label side of things, I think I never expected to find a label that, like, I sort of felt so aligned with in the scene, and just, we'll come back to that later, I guess, but...
Yeah, just in moments. But are you a what if guy? Like, whenever I apply for something or enter something or make a request, instantly my head is like, if I get this or if this does happen, what will happen? And I imagine that. Then my brain goes to the other side and like, what if it doesn't happen? And all of the negative things, that outcomes that never normally happen. But are you a what if type of daydreamer?
Yeah, I would say so. But more and more lately, I was just sort of take it as it comes, I guess. Like,
yeah, because you can waste a lot of time just imagining scenarios which never actually happen.
I feel like that's what I did in the past, and that's also what held me back. So maybe it just doesn't work so well for me. I feel like things started working out a bit more when I just sort of took things one by one.
Yeah. And also the things that you don't expect are the things that normally happen. So like my own personal examples, I didn't DJ for 10 years. I set up one more thing and suddenly Kirk from Dubtendo got me into DJing again, which I didn't think I'd ever do. There's no way I could have forecast that. No way. I didn't predict it. It wasn't on my bingo cards, any of my bingo cards at all. I thought I'd honestly hung up my headphones and now I am Mr. B2B and fucking never mix. Like, I almost bought my USB just in case we might have a mix at some point today, even though we've got a really busy day of filming. You never know. But I didn't know that, and there's something that I couldn't have forecast that. And I think it's things like that. When you have those type of examples in your life, you stop pontificating on what if or anything. So with that in mind, you entered the competition and carried on about your life throughout December in 2025 until you got an email from me.
Yeah, that was pretty huge. I guess I didn't want to hold back my mixing style because you gave the impression that was sort of what you wanted, and I was just like, fuck it,
Yeah, I was saying like no more, but like no boring bangers. Like be creative was the top line really there. And then I've got like, I kind of cringe a little bit when I think about the interview. So Mixmas was a random idea. I told you this before we press record. It was just something that I wanted to do. It's just like, right, okay, what can I do today? What can generate interest, traffic, get more people on board that is in tune with what I want to do? I'll do a DJ competition, because I did loads of DJ competitions about 20 years ago. I even won one with Radio 1 and played at Glastonbury, and totally ruined any chances of doing anything more with Radio 1 afterwards. That's another story.
Oh, no way.
I was just way too into the party, and they were trying to talk to me. And later on, there was like a BBC Radio 1 Live in Cardiff. Had I networked a bit better and not just said, can I go and get twatted now after I'd finished my mix, I probably would have been able to DJ there, and who knows what might have happened. But I didn't care. I was young. I was just entering competition, going around the country, entering competitions with no intention of going to the next round. Just like, yeah, I just thought, bring all my mates. And so I loved competitions. So to host one and then to pick a winner, by the time I interviewed you, I think it was in the Christmas holidays, wasn't it? It was in between Christmas and New Year, maybe, or just before Christmas. Either way, I've been to the gym and I was so excited about interviewing you because your mix had been part of my life. And then I saw on your social media that you play rugby and stuff. It's like, we're going to have lots in common. But then the reality was you'd never done an interview before.
Yeah.
And the conversation, it's not gelling like it is now. Like this was the first time we'd ever spoke. And I think I was a bit too much, I think is the best description.
Nah, you're never too much. Just the right amount of Dave.
But how was that for you, like first interviews? Interviews are horrible, aren't they, generally speaking, like especially if you don't know the interviewer and you're not too sure what's coming. Interviews aren't comfortable at all, are they?
Let me just take one more sound check break because I just realised we haven't actually listened to what's coming out, so
deflected that answer nicely.
no, I'm gonna answer the question. Can you remind me what the question was?
The first time we spoke and I interviewed you, and it was like, that was part of the prize, wasn't it? The prize was have a mix in our series, be the last DJ in our series of the year, or the first of the following year, can't remember. No, it was the end of the year mix, and an interview, and then a gig at one of our events. I didn't think that it would be Big Love or closing the stage.
That was wild, but I loved it.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, all of these things were unexpected, so it was really cool to speak to you and congratulate you and know, like, or imagine how you would have been feeling because I'd won competitions before. And it's like, I've literally not just opened a gateway, I've made the gateway, I built the gateway, I put a bloody lintel in it, and now I'm opening the gate and go, yo, come on in. Like, and that was a really cool feeling. So I was very, very excited, but I didn't anticipate that you would be quite anxious on the interview, and it wasn't.
Oh, well, that's fine. You know, it's a first interview, you know. Yeah. And also, it was a written interview, so I didn't have to worry about it too much.
Yeah, totally. So then after that, then we had the mix and stuff like that. Then I think the next step of us starting to talk was possibly the demo drop, I think. And what was the next kind of waymark in this journey for you? Or did we start talking about releases before that? I think it was the demo drop.
Yeah, I think so. We started talking about releases. I think I was still sort of shopping around at the time, but those tracks were basically ready, and then they went on the demo drop. And like, I think I really liked that you reached out to want to release them, and then I was like, oh, I'm actually still shopping around a bit, and then you still seemed like so like supportive and cool about it, and you were still wanting to play them on the demo drop and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
You know, not that you shouldn't have been, but like it was just such a good sign, you know, that you were still so on board.
What were your findings? Because I was really interested to see if you would come back to work with us, or whether there was another label which had a similar kind of vibe. And then because I do feel that One More Thing is doing something very, very different to any other label at the moment. So I was more than happy to see if you would come back and just see what your findings were.
I think that's what I realised. Like, I think that, you know, I'm not gonna name any labels, but I think a lot of the labels have like super talented roster, but they have like a very defined sound. And I think that what I really liked about One More Thing was you were just sort of just like anything goes. Let's just be creative, and you know, the artworks are all over the place, but like they're also fucking great. So
yeah. And now as people are getting to their second releases or third releases, there's a pattern within the chaos where you can kind of see how different people's art is going and stuff like that. And
I feel like it's developing its own sort of aesthetic there. But like maybe it's not just one thing, maybe it's like two or three different ones,
lots
sort of intertwined.
Yeah, completely. I was always worried that it might be seen as a bit lazy of me to be like, nah, you can do the artwork if you like, as long as the logo is on it. That's my rule. As long as the logo is on it. and it's not, kind of, it's not likely to offend everybody or anything like that. Even then, I'm not like above or beyond the rules of decency in that type of way. Like if someone's got a really, really strong concept and a vision and they want to explore that, then I'd be up for that. But I did wonder, it's like, am I being lazy letting the artist do the artwork? But I have found that most artists either like to do the artwork themselves because they come from a creative background, they have creative friends, or they have a vision, and they've never been in that situation before, besides self-releasing, where they can express that vision and either like get somebody else, like like with yourself, you've got an aesthetic and you'd have mood boards and colors, and that was what really kind of excited me when we started talking about releases and stuff. You had mood boards, you had an aesthetic, you were very, very clear on what you wanted and the look and the colors and the shades and the Pantones and stuff like that. You specifically, as an artist, to come to me and start working with me was like, wow, you've got a vision, like you know what you want, or the feeling of what you want, and I was there to help you explore that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a visual artist, so I always needed some help with that side of things. I thought about getting into it, but I was also just like, fuck, like music has taken like so many, not in a bad way at all, but it's taken so many years to get from my life to get good at, and I'm just like, I can't spend another 5 years getting good at visual art,
Yeah.
I need to just be able to communicate it in a way, and have other people sort of take care of that side of things. But it's been really fun working with artists as well. The results have been really cool from both of them, and yeah, it's just getting to explore that. It's like, as a non-visual artist, it's like so cool to just see things realized. It's always a bit different from the way you imagine, but that's also really cool.
Yeah, that's the beauty of a collaboration then, and that's something that I really enjoyed when I was working on magazines, is having a designer, big up Dave Partridge, who I could give a couple of code words to and he would get it completely. It'd be like, I don't know, like Chinese Revolution cornflakes box and sunshine or something like that, and he would come through, and this was a real case, like where, and he just came through with exactly like the colors, the shapes and everything, and I literally just like listed those things to him, and having that dialogue. I mean, you didn't have that with your artwork. You've employed two different people. Kat is a friend who already knew their art, but with the first one, I mean, he does a lot of artwork. I can't remember his name. It's really, really embarrassing. I'm going to keep this in the interview, but
his name's James.
He does a lot of artwork for other labels and stuff like that, but he made yours unique to you. It didn't look like other artworks that he'd done in that way. Like, it suited the release, it suited everything else that you'd shown us, what you wanted to do with the artwork and the colours and everything else. He'd listened to your brief, hadn't he?
Yeah, that was a super nice moment to open that as well.
Yeah,
that was really exciting.
Because it's a bit scary, isn't it? Especially when you're invested, and you'd invested in that. Let's be totally transparent. That was you paid him and reached out to him. It's quite scary when you've given someone a brief and you're invested in it financially. It's like, oh my god, when I open this, am I going to be really disappointed and going to have to say something, or it's going to become a thing, or is it going to look amazing?
It's just one of those moments of truth in life. It's like when you have, I don't know, when you have like, probably don't do this anymore, when you have like the letter and you need to open it and see what's inside and see if it's like good.
Yeah.
Or like an email, or just like anything really. Yeah.
I do it. Are you an avoidant? Like, if there is a slight risk of it not being positive or being negative or news that you do not want, do you sweep that under the carpet for as long as you can, or do you face it head on?
Depends what it is. If it's like admin related and it's boring, then I might do that. But if it's like something I care a lot about, then I might just try and get it done as soon as possible.
Yeah, totally. So then we're building up to the release. We had the artwork, we had so it's Breaking Gemstones and Can't Stand the Rain. And at some point along that line, then we met up for the first time in real life in the Born on Road studios, which was really cool, and did a back-to-back mix. And that was the first time we actually kind of met each other, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was cool.
Yeah, what a way to meet, right?
Yeah. And I had a good feeling that we would be good DJ sparring partners from your Mixmas mix and stuff like that, and the reference points that we'd kind of shared when we'd been chatting. But that was like, again, like, you know, kind of like doing your first interview and stuff. It was a bit of an in the deep end moment, really, kind of thinking about it. It was a Monday afternoon, and I'm asking you to turn up to like one of the biggest drum and bass labels at the moment, studios, to come and do a mix with me. How was that point in this journey for you, and what memories do you have of that?
I feel like it was one of those B2B mixes, probably more because of me than because of you, but or just the way that we work together and like the nature of doing things is like, it was quite rough around the edges, but I think we like also got away with it. There's just like, there's a good feeling in that. It's like, I have no idea if these songs are going to go together, and it's like, oh wait, they actually do. I remember a lot of that happening for that mix.
Oh, massively. And because you said let's go for 2 tunes, and I was quite used to doing 3 tunes, where I've got my little 3 tune sequences where the first tune is kind of like a segue into the bit that I want to do, and we'd remove that then, so it's a lot more fast paced. It's the only mix where I had to go, do you know what, I haven't got a tune to mix into that, I haven't got the right music. I think if I'd have thought about it, I definitely would have done, but I'd done a mix prior to that with Dorpy, which was really high energy as well. I think I was spent, and it was just like, no, the better DJ can finish this mix. Like, you know, I didn't have the right tunes for it. I kind of went away from there thinking like, but then at the same time, I was like, this is a really cool little kind of promo tool that we can now use to shout about your single. Like, you're the first and only person to throw me under a bus in a B2B scenario.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that, I guess.
It was cool.
Just hardcore.
Yeah, just hardcore. But that was cool, and that was in April, and from there we were building up then to the release in June. And I mean, I'd asked if you wanted to release it in Pride because I thought it was significant. I like things linking to meaningful dates or times or anything like that. I didn't know if you would think that was tacky or anything, or whether it would mean anything to you. I was also really worried then about kind of like, I didn't push the fact that we'd released it in Pride Month because I felt that would be exploiting it, and I never want to exploit a situation or anything. But yeah, it felt nice to be able to give that space on a significant month for you, really, in that type of way. I don't know if that had gravitas for you or meant anything to you, or it was just a release date or anything.
It was nice for sure. Definitely got some more flamboyant ones in the making that would maybe be more of a Pride Month sort of thing. But yeah, it was definitely nice to have. Like,
cool. I felt, and it'd be nice to acknowledge that you had released before. So it wasn't like we made a big thing. I did a video like, can you remember the last time you saw an artist debut, and really made a big thing out of it being your debut.
Yeah.
You have on your Spotify, with loads more streams than anything we've released so far, you did have a track out before, you did have a presence. So I'd want to acknowledge the fact that you had actually released before, because I did kind of feel like I was taking the credit for breaking you in that type of way and presenting you to the world. And we did, like, you were part of a compilation before, but you had a release out before, hadn't you? And it's a wicked tune as well.
Yeah, no, Overclocking Records. Yeah, good guys. Yeah. So you had a release, but this was the next step. This was like a proper kind of presenting yourself to the world. And how did that feel? Yeah, I think that was cool. I feel like it actually took a year between those first 2 releases. So I was a little bit like, fuck's sake. But yeah, so there was that element to it. I just sort of felt that, you know, while I was happy with that release and I was proud of that track, I do feel like I was having to like use that in all the promotional material. I just felt like it was getting a bit stale for me anyway. And it was like, now there's an opportunity to just start again with something new, and that was really fun. And also, you know, have a hand in the visual aesthetics side of things as well. Yeah, totally. I mean, I still remember the kind of meetings that we were having about that, really. And that was, you know, you were kind of, this is where you were deciding to wear the mask, or where the mask was kind of coming into things. I mean, that is a point for like any aspiring artist or artist who's really early on their journey. You know, there are kind of key decisions that you make, which you almost can't go back on then at that point. Like, if you know what I mean, like if you're going to introduce a mask, introducing it on your first release,
So the nature of our music is quite niche. So it wouldn't have mattered if you hadn't, but it's nice when you're releasing your very first single to really kind of make that statement and show the world who you are, and it not play it too cool, really, in a way. I think so many people release so much music, so much stuff gets lost in just the thick of it, really, I think, and can become a little bit characterless. So, you know, kind of having a name like Fireworks Factory to begin with, and also to go back to the things that stood out about your name. Like, just I knew I would like the mix just from seeing your name. Like, so it's like, that's it. Who calls themselves Firework Factory? This is wicked.
It's because I want, when people make posters, I want to be the biggest name on the poster. That's the real reason. It
is a problem because everybody's got one word names on the label except for you. Like Whoosh, Lakeway, Ben, Sonnet, Fireworks Factory. But there was, and I think, if I'm right in saying, like, you did spend a lot of time thinking about how you're going to introduce yourself to the world, and that was like making your debut seem quite significant, I think. Yeah,
for sure. It can always be built on, but I did feel like I had a lot of time to think about that moment. So it's sort of a start to what I wanted to show, but you know, something to work from, and it was fun to do that. It was a bit nerve-wracking at the time, but it was definitely worth it.
Massively. I remember release day, because we just spoke about the recent release when we started this conversation, but how was that release day back in June when it was your debut EP? Because I remember sending you a message going like, release days are a bit weird, you're putting yourself out there, don't worry if today feels like an anticlimax. I can remember writing like quite a considerate message to you, either at midnight or like first thing in the morning, to say like, yo, like, this is a wicked day and just enjoy it. Don't worry about posts, don't worry about metrics or anything, just embrace the fact you've put wicked art out into the universe. And I think compared to yesterday when we released music, it was quite a different one, wasn't it? And maybe a little bit overwhelming, I think.
Yesterday was fine, honestly.
No, I mean the first release back in June.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think it definitely takes some getting used to, the whole release day thing. I think it depends how invested you are in the project, like, as well. Like, I think there's a way you can be really invested in it until it's done, and then just be like, yeah, it's just another step along the road. And I think I'm not always going to be able to have that attitude, but I was able to do it for this release, and that helped a lot.
Yeah, in fact, that was feedback that we had from a well-known festival booker when he watched that interview of yours when we did the release party at BMC Radio. Captain from Big Love, previously Boomtown, and said like, no, he's got it all wrong. Like, it's not, I'm glad that the music is out. It's just like, he needs to be supporting that music. This is where the journey starts, not like, I wrote them a while ago. But I think for that first release, those tunes had been, you needed to get them out of the system to start writing the newer stuff and to get excited. I think there was a catharsis in saying goodbye to some tracks that have been on your door for a long time. Yeah,
maybe I should have kept that one to myself then, just being like, I just whipped these out like yesterday.
But it was cool. I think, you know, it's important to show that. It was just like you'd had a relationship with these tracks for a very long time and they were part of your development, and now you are much more excited about chapter 2 or the next chapter than you were about the fact that these, you felt that you could already do better in that type of way.
I'm really happy with how they came out though. Like, yeah.
And as time has gone by, definitely Can't Stand the Rain. That's part of my sets, like almost all of the time.
Nice one.
And cuts over so many tunes. Like I didn't quite appreciate how much I liked the production on them until I've been playing them and they've been part of my sets and on my USB for so long. And yeah, I still, you know, even now, like, really relish playing them. They don't, like, a lot of debuts, a lot of artists, when I talk to them about their debuts, when we're doing interviews and stuff, especially if they're like 10 years down the road, they're like, oh my God, don't listen to the first 4 years of my releases. Like, I think you will always look back on Can't Stand the Rain and Breaking Gemstones as, like, you know, the best production that you could put out at that very stage. And I hope that you never regret putting them out like a lot of artists do when they're looking back over their early releases. I think you'd waited long enough and you'd got your chops up long enough to put out tunes which you can mix with pendulum tunes. you know, or Noiser tunes. Like, you know, these are the type of tunes that I'm mixing your tunes with when I'm having a mix and stuff like that. They stand up against big tunes.
Oh, nice one. Yeah, good to know that. I mean, I think it's kind of two ways. I think I played it a little bit too safe. Like, I always hear that, you know, I spent so long not releasing anything under this name, and I think if I had done some releases, then it might have got me somewhere more as well. So, but the road I took, I can't change it now.
No.
So I'm happy with the releases I have, and that's good.
Yeah, definitely. So the next step after the release, or it was either just before or just after, I can't remember if we just released it or it was literally coming out. I think we did it just before, didn't we? Was the release party of BMC, which that was really significant. Every month for the last 7 months, we've been curating a lineup to come along on a Saturday and just have a wicked session at BMC. Really, really lovely setup and lovely people. And out of all of the lineups that were ever curated, the new people that I met, I've kept in touch with everybody who you invited. Like, released music from Ben, Katamine, made good friends with Jay, Akira Knightley, and done a mix with him, and also Airbender as well. Like, we had a back down the following month, and I've been chatting about lots of other stuff as well. I kept in touch with all of them. Like, you curated a really cool lineup.
Yeah,
what are your
so
memories of
happy
that
that all
day?
worked out.
It was wicked, wasn't it?
What were my memories of that day? I remember that I was running really late, and I was staying over with Jay, and he had to rush me to it. And his girlfriend was really annoyed with me because she didn't because I made her run, basically, because I was so late. But Jay kept me. Yeah, Jay got us there on time, so
yeah,
it's all thanks to Jay, really, that it all came together.
And he played an amazing set.
He did do an amazing set as well.
Yeah, with the remix of the Spanish Flea. I mean, everything about that day was great. Even though we couldn't actually use the pub, it was full of like New Zealand people eating sausages in white bread, and it would play in like really horrible middle of the road kind of country rock and stuff like that. It was still just a great day. When you came on, what I really loved, when you came on, suddenly loads of other people appeared, and they didn't, like, some people did hang around. You do have an entourage, like, especially when you're starting to play, like, suddenly, like, loads of different people all came through. It's like, were they always arriving? Were they here already, waiting in a car? But there was just a vibe. You brought people with you. I mean, and it was a stinking day weather-wise, wasn't it? So we were all kind of crammed in the unit, but it was great. Like, I was still, of all the BMCs, that was my favourite one.
Really?
Yeah.
No way, that was really good fun. I think, I mean, I used to live in London, but I don't anymore, so there's a lot of people I could invite to that. And sometimes it's nice when you don't live there. I was just basically treating it as like I'm kind of throwing a party in the daytime, except I'm not actually the one throwing it. I'm just inviting people.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
So just wanted to see as many people as possible, and like a lot of them came through, which was really nice.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And then my kind of favourite memory after that, so I stayed for the next person's show, which was Randomer, a Diversion Audio, and I did a back-to-back with him on his show. So then it was like an hour after, and you come back looking for your headphones, but it was shitting it down with rain. And I still remember, like, just looked like a drowned rat. You had your tracksuit on, but you had your vest on. It's the moustache, I think, but you were absolutely soaked. And you were walking back, and you looked really miserable and tired. And I ran down the window. I was like, can't stand the rain. And then got you in the car. I was like, right, come on, let's sort you out. And I thought the engine was running, and it wasn't. And I had the heaters on, I had the tunes on, I was charging up my phone. So when I went to start the car, it didn't go. And this was my first test as a label owner, so I don't have any patience. I can't deal with situations like that particularly well, and I was so frustrated because I had another gig to play to, and I had all of these things to kind of go to, and that wasn't going to happen. But it's only the second time I kind of met and hung out with you. I'm releasing your music. I'm in a position of responsibility. you definitely saw the most well-behaved, well-tempered version of me there, because it was totally my fault. I thought the car was running and stuff. But again, I think like having you and Jay and a few others trying to push the car and stuff like that was definitely another kind of bonding moment along the way.
In the pouring rain as well.
Yeah. It's like that either makes or breaks relationships, I think.
I think so. I think it just... There's a certain point you get to as well where everything goes wrong. I just get a little bit hysterical with it as well. Just start having a laugh about it.
Yeah, that's all you can do. And like suddenly, no one had a car that I could jumpstart off. Everybody had an electric car or didn't want help or couldn't speak English. Suddenly, no one could speak English. So I had to call up the AA. Everything eventually worked out fine and it was cool. But that was kind of my crowning memory, really, of that day. But I've got to ask, because I don't think I've ever asked you, the vocal on Can't Stand the Rain, the doi 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 junkie, or however it goes, like, what is that? It's your voice.
That's me, yeah.
What are you saying?
Can't stand the rain. No, it's saying I can't stand the...
But it sounds, it's all like kind of chopped up and I don't know, I can't decipher any actual words. It is you just saying Can't Stand the Rain.
It's he saying I can't stand the, and then it goes into the drop.
Wow, I didn't know if it was actually you just saying that. Right, yeah. Go on, cool. I'm going to revisit that. After that, so this is June, this goes into July now. Big Love, like the actual, at this point, had it just been a DJ competition and quite a cut and dry thing, congratulations, you've won Mixmas. This was the point where this was the main thing that we were trying to achieve, really, with Mixmas. Now, when I told Captain, we do the lineup for the fire truck stage at Big Love, and the way that like Captain kind of organised things was awesome. Like the whole day was great. The lineup was absolutely amazing. But it was the last three DJs. Pinks, who isn't One More Thing, but it's very much like I've known Pinks for a long time. Huge love to Pinks.
Yeah, love Pinks.
Like a very close friend of the brand. Then Lakeway, then you. By that stage of the day, was starting to kind of go, right, okay, I'm not working anymore. I can relax a little bit. So, like, by the time you were playing, like, by the time all three of you were playing, it was just wicked. It was the end of an awesome day. And none of us expected the competition prize to be like closing an awesome stage at a really lovely festival, did we?
Yeah, that was wild. That was so good.
And by then you'd already played. It wasn't your festival debut because you'd played at Deepstock a little while before, hadn't you? But this year has been your first year of playing at festivals.
Yeah. Don't know. It's just surreal, really.
Did you imagine that, like when you were kind of developing Fireworks Factory and like, you know, kind of prior to entering Mixmas, and you're thinking about kind of who you are as an artist and, you know, kind of trying to find opportunities to put yourself out there in that type of way and find opportunities for gigs and go through all of those things that new artists do and thinking like, how can I make this happen and stuff. Did you imagine, because you also played at Boomtown then afterwards, do you play at like 3 festivals this summer at all, or how did you imagine that would roll out?
I just don't set expectations for things like that, really, because I don't want to be bummed out if it doesn't work out. So I just took it as it came, you know. I knew playing festivals was something I really wanted to do from the start, but I wasn't going to be like, this is my year, it has to be this year. But yeah, it worked out, you know. It worked out really nicely.
It did. And that set worked out really nicely. And I reminded myself of how good that set is because you like re-recorded it and we've got it up on your SoundCloud and stuff like that afterwards. It brought back lots of memories. There's lots of bits of it I can't remember because I was also backstage and stuff and catching up with people. But the set is really well considered. It's well measured. It's got every style of drum and bass and other adjacent genres, fast tempo genres in there. I think like it's fair to say that you knew what you were going to play before you arrived. Like I know you're a DJ who could read the crowd and respond like in the moment, but that you can feel that that's a considered set. Like and it reminded me of how much I love drum and bass presented in that type of way. Like, you know, there's bits of dance floor, there's bits of real kind of grotty jump up stuff, but there's also incredibly like vibrant like camp bits and stuff. It's got everything that I love in this music. Yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I just want to gush about your set. Like, I just want to pick you up. It's a fucking wicked set, and it reminds me of how much I do love this music. Sometimes you can get jaded or you can forget how much you love things. How does that sit with where you rate yourself as a DJ, your inner critic and stuff like that? Are you happy with that set and the story that you told with it?
I'm happy with that set. I think the nice thing about DJing is, coming from a different musical background, I didn't really think I would be just like you said, I didn't really think I would be doing DJing. And then at a certain point I was like, oh, I guess I'm making drum and bass, so I should probably get into DJing. It didn't really come from like, oh, I really want to be a DJ. It was kind of like, yeah, this is the thing to do. But then when I started doing it, I really learned to like it. I really learned to love it, and part of that was that my approach to production at the time was so just like, I need to do this exact thing, and it all needs to be like exactly this way. And with DJing, I was just like, this is just a little thing on the side, and because of that, I could have fun with it. I mean, the style that I sort of have developed with like mixing a lot of different things together, I feel like it's not going to be for everyone, but I'm glad it was for you, you know. And like, I think a lot of people do enjoy that sort of stuff. I mean, things used to be a little bit wilder. I mean, I have found the ways to make it a bit more consistent throughout. But yeah, there's still a lot going on. It's not going to be everyone's thing, I feel, but because of that, yeah, I'm just not trying to make it everyone's thing. I'm just trying to have some fun with it, really.
I think that's the best thing. I think that's probably the most important thing of this conversation, is that we can't please everybody. And I think we're in an era where everybody is always trying to please everybody, or avoid insulting or, like, you know, kind of upsetting people or upsetting their own personal apple cart. And I think it's really important to embrace the fact that not everybody is going to enjoy your selection or be, you know, of a similar kind of taste palette and things, and be accepting of that. Like, I think, because I am a people pleaser deep down, but I also know that nothing ever progresses when everybody's happy. I think like High Contrast said something in a podcast once, and it's like, the saddest thing, and it's a famous quote apparently, it's like, the saddest thing is when two people in a room agree with each other, or something like that. And it's like, yeah, because you've got to share ideas, share points of view and stuff like that. And I think that attitude to your set, instead of just playing, you know, the Beatport top 10, or, you know, kind of going down a more conventional, you know, kind of style. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because a lot of people are doing incredible things when they do follow that path, but it's embracing the difference, isn't it? It's embracing and being proud of that, really, in a way, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't really dream of being like one of the big sort of drum and bass circuit names. I'm just doing what I wanted to just having some fun with it, really. Yeah, and not limiting yourself to a genre or a bracket or a scene in that type of way, really. And I guess this is where, you know, when you were saying about kind of finding a label that you felt so comfortable with, and was in tune with what you wanted, that's the spirit of One More Thing in that way. Like, it's like, I don't care if this isn't a popular sound at the moment, or I don't care if this isn't in trend at all, and no DJs are going to play this. If I think this is great, I want to release it. And that's the type of attitude I want to see more of in all dance music and all creative sectors, really. Yeah, people are too into trends, for sure.
Yeah. And I think, you know, that one of the feedbacks I've had on certain releases, like, I don't know how I'm going to fit this in my set. So, well, it doesn't have to be for your set. This could be for listening to when you're, I don't know, cooking your spaghetti bolognese, soybeans on toast or something, or when you're driving, or when you're doing so many other things. Like, it's not just about DJ music. It's not like, this music is a lifestyle, it's a culture, it soundtracks absolutely everything. And certainly when I kind of go into other releases, like certain aspects of Lakeway's album, Deer Hill's album for sure, Ben's EP, like, we're not talking about dance floors or raves here, we're talking about just beautiful electronic music.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've got a bit of a hot take, which is, I feel like bangers are great, but like, if everyone's trying to make bangers all the time, then there's less room for stuff to just naturally develop. Like, one of my inspirations as an artist is Animal Collective. And like, I like how they sort of came round to making like pop music after years of just doing like
really strange
like
stuff.
weird, like howling,
Yeah.
like super long experimental songs and stuff. And like the way that it worked out so well at the end was because they had just spent so long just like doing exactly their own thing. And I feel like if everyone's trying to make bangers, then you're not allowing that sort of experimentation. You've got to take the songs which aren't bangers seriously as well, because you know they may not be the ones that all the DJs want to play, but yeah, it's just very, very important for your like creative development, I think
so. You're exploring loads of different ideas, and you could chance upon a particular kind of vocal processing technique, which then leads to you using it on the next tune, which is a banger or something like that. Or I'm trying to think of like surprising bangers, like tracks I can't think of, my mind's gone completely blank, but anthems that never were supposed to be anthems, but they just kind of came about in a particular way, and there's no way that anybody could have sat down and go, I'm going to make a banger, and then come up with that. And it's got to come from that unexpected side in that type of way, really, hasn't it? And if you're not given that freedom and you're not letting yourself off the leash far enough, you're never going to know what you can achieve on the boundaries, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to come back to one more thing as well, it's like, I think it's why I think it's so important that a label like yours is giving space to those releases which aren't like super, this is gonna be like on every dance floor, you know. It's like, if everyone's, you know, there's so many like talented people on the scene, and it's like, if everyone made less bangers but still made bangers, just not like every song, then I feel like there'd be so much more interesting ideas like floating around, and then everyone could sort of be inspired by that. That'd be really cool.
Definitely. I remember having a conversation with Hedex, because he played me a couple of tunes that were like real proper rollers and foghorn tunes. It's like, you gotta release them. It's like, no, this is not what's expected of me. Now, I mean, he's an example who's like, he's played it so well and taken it like further than most people. Sure. But he didn't want to show those certain aspects, but he still made them and put them in his sets, but he wouldn't release them because they weren't the best example of where he wanted to be. And my argument with him, discussion rather, and I've never argued with Hedex, but my discussion, and with other people, is like, have faith in your fans. Now, he's proof that actually doing it the way that is currently being done is a very, very good, successful way of marketing yourself if you have those talents and those skills. But I think most people should have more faith in the people who are going to support their music. If you wanted to release a house tune for your next release, and you were like, I'm a bit worried about what people would think, then my instant reaction would be like, then go for it, because the people who don't get it, they'll come back round, they'll listen to the next thing. Now, because you don't have to invest in a 12-inch and spend money.
I think there is a balance between doing whatever you like and then doing something consistent enough that people are gonna like pick up on it consistently, I guess.
Yeah. And that is the endless pursuit as a creative, really, there, isn't it? Having the variety, but having the signature, having the consistency and things like that.
Yeah.
And I know, and you hinted at it just now, like, you're sitting on tracks that are older than some of the tracks that we've released, or that, you know, have come about in a different way, but you are purposefully waiting to release them at a later date because there's a journey to get to them. There's a musical story, there's a developmental story for you as well, that it would be a wasted opportunity to put out tunes which do definitely have potential to be anthems. So, certainly one that I'm thinking of, and it's in your Big Love mix. Is it in the competition? I think it's in the competition mix as well. Pretty Rave Boy. If that's in the competition mix, that's in the Mixmas mix as well, I think. Maybe not.
Probably.
But I mean, for me, that has potential to be absolutely huge. But like you've said, and when we've had lots of, you know, and I love the conversations I have with artists when we're developing a release and stuff, and we're just literally sharing ideas and coming up with different ideas. Some of them are really wacky and stupid, but then they will lead to something else, or they're just like, right, well, okay, now I know that you don't like that type of idea, or this is something that's cool. But you know, you're like, you didn't want to release particular records at certain times because it wouldn't make sense, and that's part of your own kind of less having faith in the fans, but more just not wanting to rush everything out and having things have a space in the journey, really, I think.
Yeah, I think part of what I was trying to do was, I guess, put out loads of 2 tracks, and the 2 tracks were good because if I just put everything out at once, and because I've been doing a lot of different shit, I guess, and if I put everything out at once, it would sound pretty disjointed, I reckon. Like, so I think the 2 tracks was a good opportunity to sort of create these like little micro vibes where, you know, these are sort of in the same universe and these sort of in the same universe, like sort of the way I would think about making albums as well. If I was like at that stage, you know, you wouldn't do an album and like albums, they've got a sound to them. And I sort of wanted to create like the micro version of that,
right, just within 2 tracks, in that type of way where they reflect each other in a different way and things. I mean, you've inspired other artists on the label, because Lakeway is really into doing 2-trackers now. For him, it's a game of contrast. One. It's like, this is a banger, this is a deep one, or this is a really wild one that you're not going to want to play in your sets, and this is one you are going to want to play in your sets. And it's showing, whether that's showing the diversity in your sound or showing a consistency in your sound. The 2 tracks in Sonnet as well, although his next release is 3 tracks because I cocked up and uploaded another track as well. Oh shit. But it's actually worked out for the better in a way. But yeah, like you doing that and your kind of your ideology around that, I guess, really, to use a lofty expression, but your reasoning behind that has actually inspired the way that singles have been going this particular club season, really. In that, you know, it's like, right, okay, you've got a 2-tracker, Lakeway's got a 2-tracker, and that's quite nice for me as a label. Like, in one way, it's like, oh, we haven't got enough music to create content around and make silly videos around, but at the same time, it's allowing it to be focused. When DJs are checking the promos, they're far more likely to check both tracks. When we're starting to release 4, 5, 6, 7 tracks, nobody's going to listen to all of those from a DJ point of view and stuff. And how has that been? Because we've had some pretty cool DJ responses, haven't we, from both of the singles? So how's that been for you?
It's been good, although I have to admit I haven't checked this recent one at all.
I haven't checked it as much, I think. I mean, I'm still waiting for the moment where either all of us are at a festival, or one of us or some of us, and we hear, like, because Rob Swire has been really supportive and made some really nice positive comments about a lot of you guys.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and there's people like that, Camo and Crooked as well, but I haven't gone out. I'm not at places where I'm going to see them play quite regularly like I used to be at those type of gigs, a lot more than I am now. But I think that'll be a real moment, and I was saying this to Sonnet on a call 2 days ago, and when we actually see Andy C, Chase and Status, Subfocus, one of these really, really big DJs playing one of your tunes, I think, you know, a one more thing release. Yeah. I think it will be a moment, but then at the same time, I'm anti the big DJs as well. Like, I want to make the stuff that the smaller, the underground are doing, but I think that'll just be a really nice moment where we've got that perfect balance, where we're doing something different, we've got something fresh, and the big people are listening, really, in that type of way. So you haven't really, because some artists do hover over the DJ reactions, and the minute there's a big response, let's say High Contrast or something like that, there'll be a WhatsApp going off in my pocket going, oh my god. Like, you haven't been like that, so you purposefully...
I think you didn't send me the link as well, but I also...
Right, okay, that's why.
But, you know, I'll have a look.
And I think it's been really cool for me as a label owner to go through that process, and also to kind of give me a sense of, like, I am mutating from a journalist to a label owner. And I think there's a lot of people out there who don't know I run a label yet. They still think that I'm just interviewing people. Yeah. But now I am someone who is still making content and documenting things and interviewing people, but also have a label. So, like, to use Camo and Crooked as an example, I very much doubt they'd be watching this, but if you are big up, like, I used to write for them. I used to do their bios, their press releases, and a very regular comms with them. Yeah. Sent them music, nothing. But then when the promo came through 2 months later to them, they gave it 4 out of 5 and said, this is amazing. So that's been in your inbox. So I mean, for me, it's still a case of, like, you know, I almost feel like I'm on a journey, like you're a new artist developing, I'm a new label developing, and I think there's some really nice strength in that, and that's why it's working and feels really exciting at the moment with quite a few of us, because we're all at this kind of emergent burgeoning kind of stage where we're learning, and we're all exploring the unknown in that type of way.
I feel like for me it was a really good time to get involved with the label, because it's still, I don't know if it will ever be like clean, but it's still at that messy stage, you know. We're still sort of figuring things out. I mean, I don't think you're gonna,
it's always going to be a bit messy.
It's always going to be a bit like that, I'm sure. But you know, it's like still at that developing stage, and it's like that is just so exciting, because it's like, you know, I can have some sort of imprint on the way that it goes in the future as well.
And you already do. You've got me thinking about branding, and image and consistency. I was too messy before, and when you came on board, we were really kind of, I still had a bit more of a content team, and we were all doing the Instagram, and it was just a mess, and it was my posts that were really standing out as the most cluttered, shitty posts, even though it was like the most enthusiastic. So kind of conversations with you about kind of like image consultancy and looking at things, and like still retaining what I call pretty chaos, like just that, like basically my bedroom walls when I was a kid, and just that like neon splatter of just have some of this, because that's what my brain is like. But there is a way of channeling that a little bit more, and I think you in particular have a real eye for that. And a lot of our conversations where we're talking about releases and we're just having creative discussions, I definitely have taken cue points off you, and definitely do think of things more in the way that you approach social media. So with each artist, everybody is slightly different with how they want to portray themselves, whether they want to collab on a post and stuff, and it all seems really dry, but it's actually a really good way of finding out how each other want to express themselves, how, like, I really like when a label all support each other. And the next kind of stage for me is like, you know, when you had a release, it'd be great to see Lakeway, Sonnet, everybody else all sharing that release as well. And I think that's the next step, but it's all so chaotic and there's so much music going on, and I don't inform you. Like Lakeway was like, can I actually get some of these tunes like for my USB? So I was like, Fireworks Factory's out today. It's like, oh wow, cool. I haven't even got the tunes, mate. So I need to be a lot better with servicing you all like releases, so you're all supporting each other.
Oh, that's all right. I always want to support the releases. I think I've just been a little bit burned out on social media, but such good releases have come out lately. Like,
yeah. So that messiness will always be there, because that's the very nature of me. And something that Tony Coleman said in an interview, not the recent one I did, but a while ago when he left hospital, is that he loved the impromptu-ness, he loved being a speedboat, and if he had to turn around and flip 360 and go another way, or let's do that, they could. And then suddenly hospital became this massive oil tanker which would take weeks to maneuver.
Yeah.
And that he wanted to get back to the speedboat. I always want to be the speedboat, and I think that will limit to how much One More Thing grows in a corporate way. But that's great, that's fine, because I don't want it to be that kind of big thing. I always want that spontaneity. Today, we didn't even know we were going to do this interview. Like this time yesterday, we just started talking about it. An opportunity came up to film something later on this afternoon. It's like, right, okay, we were going to do this days, but the spontaneity and being, right, do you fancy that? Yeah, that's a cool idea, let's fucking do it.
No, it's good.
I need
good.
to have that flexibility and that. The spontaneity I think I like, and I don't know how things are going to grow. All I know is that it will grow in a way that I don't expect it to, because all the best things have happened in a way, like we said before, that can't be expected or forecast or anything. So where are we now? When did we start talking about the new release? I can't quite remember. I mean, I've had those tracks, you were playing them at Big Love and I was filming them, so I think we'd already sorted out this release and locked it in.
Well, there was those 3 tracks. Wait, there's actually 4 of them. One of them is going to be released on compilation TBA. Say no more.
Yeah. And then it will come out eventually.
And then we decided to do. We decided to make this the 2 track, and then do the other one, Pretty Rave Boy, next year. I'm working on the B-side for that now, so.
That's really cool.
But yeah, that was, I don't know when that was, probably around the same time, I guess.
And it's really nice. Like I'm trying to remember the conversation that we had regarding the release. I mean, I think because there were other things and there were some tune swaps and stuff going on, it wasn't quite as clear cut as the first release. You knew what tracks you wanted to release. You had a real clear vision. This has kind of come together more in the moment, in that kind of spontaneity, that spontaneous kind of way, I think, really, hasn't it? But has it felt like, does it feel like a progression in that type of way, right? Do you feel like, I don't know if there is a difficult second release. There's a difficult second album for sure, because you spent all your life writing the first album, so the second album can be a little bit empty of input sometimes. There's loads of great second albums. Did it feel like a nice progression with this new release?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it felt very different, because like it's almost a bit weird the way that they came out, because I feel like the sort of more like dark, maybe more wintry one came out in like high summer, and then this like super bright like summery one is coming out in the middle of winter.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
But my flatmate heard it and he was like, it's actually quite nice to have this coming out this time of year, because you kind of need the escape from like
yeah, definitely,
just how cold it is and shit.
Definitely. Can you remember the first time you played Back to You, like out to a dance floor?
Yeah, well, it was like, it's quite an old tune, so I think I first played it out in 2023, and there weren't a lot of people there, but like it was a good little reaction.
The first time I played it was at a bakery pop-up in Plymouth a little while ago, and there's one particular guy on the dance floor. He's also a DJ with the guys who were promoting the night, Pac-Man, a big up, and it's the way that his smile keeps broadening as the tune goes on, and you could kind of see him on the build up then, and he's shaking his head like he knows what's coming before. He's like he wouldn't have heard that track. But it's just a really, like, he doesn't know he's being filmed. I just literally had my camera out and Lakeway was taking over on the B2B. But there's something about his face and that kind of smile. So it's cute. Like, it's cute. And it's just like this kind of, and you can see him into it. There's a girl dancing beside it. It's like, that's the essence. That's the essence. And it's really nice to, like, drop a tune. And I dropped a few Sonic new things as well. And that's a mad one in itself, being a label owner, having all this unreleased music. And then thinking it's not like, oh, I'm packing bare dubs, bruv. Oh fuck, I've got 6 tunes from 3 people that I need to include this set, and I'm also paying attention to the crowd, and I don't want to lose the crowd, but I also want to play this 200 BPM thing as well. And like this, it adds a whole other challenge or puzzle to the mix, which is fun. But I think that one in particular was just like, yeah, this landed right. It's really, really nice. And then I got to do the same thing then with Infinite Crashing Wave the following time I played for them, like the following month. And again, it's kind of just seeing the reaction to something like, you know, I haven't made the tune, I'm just releasing it. But seeing the reaction, you know, I feel pride on your behalf. If that's, you know, it's just like, oh, like this is wicked. I can't wait to tell Max about this one. I can't wait to tell Sonnet about this. Or, you know, when you see these reactions, it's like, go on. So how about Infinite Crashing Wave? When did you play that to people for the first time?
Probably at Big Love.
Oh,
no,
wow.
It was at PMC.
Maybe, yeah.
But that wasn't that wasn't to loads of people. Yeah, I feel like that's come a little way. I think that needed a bit more development once I heard it on the dance floor. But yeah,
and that's an important part of the process, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Tell us about each track. So tell us about Back to You, like what inspired it and everything.
So Back to You was originally called Back, but it didn't really make much sense because it just sounded like you're talking about someone's back. Yeah. But I think it was about going to like the first rave back after lockdown, and like how much you realize you missed it, and like what a sort of euphoric experience that was. And also at the time I had been listening to a lot of color bass, which sort of has that kind of chordal bass sound, and I thought it was a shame that there weren't more drum and bass tracks that had that sort of vibe to it. So I was just like, oh, this is like such a good gap in the market, and I already have this like really euphoric tune that I'm working on. I'm gonna try that for the and it just seemed to work out pretty well. I think Sonnet is doing like quite a similar thing now, but I didn't know at the time, obviously.
It's really cool that there is that crossover. Yeah, I was playing at Bish's tattoo place, and it was either a Sonnet tune or your tune, and the guy who was with me, Josh, he accused it of being the other, so I can't remember if it was your tune and he said, is this a new Sonnet thing, or if vice versa. But it was quite nice in a way, because it's like a little kind of nod, like, I'm actually not as scatty, remit-wise, as sometimes I think I am. you know, there is a theme running through, and now it's like, you know, kind of you bouncing off each other a little bit and hearing stuff in each other's productions. You're always going to be miles apart, but when there's these nice little crossover points, and there are crossover points between all of you, that's why it's quite nice to go like, right, okay, who can I put in a back-to-back scenario? Because there are points where you cross over and then points where you're massively apart, and that's really nice, because then it means that we're not completely disparate sonically.
Yeah,
that there is this kind of middle, interesting kind of playground, which is always going to change as well, I think, in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's back to you. And then Infinite Crashing Wave, that was also inspired by lockdown a little bit as well, wasn't it?
No, not really. That was written this year.
Oh, I thought that was kind of like because he was coming back to...
I think it was inspired by a lot of chaos that was just going on. That
in your life? Yeah,
in my life and in the world, although like I wasn't really like gonna write a tune about that, and I kind of, when it started developing, I brought in these chords, and it was inspired by like the Field song that I was listening to at the time, like his first album, where there's a lot of just sort of stuttered chords and stuff, and I was just like, there's something about this that's like quite psychedelic, and I don't feel like that's been really attempted within, like, well, not psychedelia, but I don't feel like that sort of sound has been attempted in drum and bass. So I was just like, yeah, let's go. And it's also the middle of winter, so I was the same vibe. I was like, yeah, I just need something a bit like positive to get me through this. Yeah, so a lot of what the lyrics about is just trying to frame that feeling of like riding this wave of uncertainty and chaos, and it's like yeah,
that can definitely be related to in the world at the moment, can't it?
I mean, I don't want to make it too heavy, so I sort of framed it about like sort of relationship stuff. But yeah, but it is what it is as well. It's not really this, it's not really exactly this, it's not really exactly that. Things just kind of work out in the middle, and then before you know it, like the idea is down, you're just like, oh shit, I'm gonna finish this now.
Yeah. And it's kind of gone in a way of its own, in that type of way, like it's developed a life of its own. But I really like that sense of escapism and that sense of putting something positive out into the world when things are unutterably frustrating, scary and shit. And not to go on too much of a heavy one, I think escapism through music can be just as political as being political with music. Like, if you know what I mean, like putting out something really euphoric and really kind of feel good for the people when times are hard and we're all skint and all sorts of horrible stuff is looming and a lot of people are being completely denied, their existence is being denied.
Yeah.
To put out something really special is, I think, a political thing in a way. Like, again, it's a flex. It's just like, right, okay, just for this 3 minutes or 5 minutes or, you know, however long the tune is, just come away into my own little world and just forget about everything just for a second. This will make you feel good no matter what pressures you are feeling from the powers that be at the moment.
I think so, yeah. I think just because times are really hard doesn't mean you necessarily just want to like listen to like super bleak music all the time. In a way, that can be even more depressing.
Yeah, completely.
I mean, I think there's a power in like angry music to address that sort of thing. Maybe that's something I want to explore more of as well. But I didn't feel like doing it on this release.
An angry fireworks factory. Bang, it's going off left, right and centre. Yeah, I got one pun in. But no, I mean, like, you've shown your darker side already, but do you think there's much more angrier music in you as well?
Yeah, forward? I think for sure. I think there's plenty of different vibes that I want to explore, though. It's not just that one thing.
Wicked.
Yeah, we'll see some of that next year, I guess.
Brilliant. I mean, we're kind of coming to the end of the year. We're going to announce a new Mixmas, and as we said at the start of the interview, you are Mr. Mixmas now. Like, you're going to be part of that, and this kind of wraps up the year. What are you looking for in a DJ mix, just generally? Not if you're judging a DJ competition or helping me and the team judge a DJ competition, not putting it all on you, like, no pressure whatsoever. Like, it is all down on me. And actually, I hate it when people say no pressure, because they instantly just think, what, fuck, pressure, fuck.
Yeah, you have to be careful not to say that to you.
yeah. Oh, I've already told you that, haven't I? Yeah. It is a real trigger point for me. But anyway, so I don't know why I'm dishing out that word to you, but when you are listening to a mix, or out in the dance floor listening to a DJ, and maybe these are two separate things, what are you looking for from a DJ? What makes a DJ stand out?
It's sometimes hard to say, because sometimes, I mean, it can depend on how you're feeling, and like the DJ doesn't have any control over that, but it's sometimes like you listen to two mixes and they both have sort of the same songs, but you just get into one like way more than the other, and it's hard to exactly put a finger on what that is. But I think I'm not looking for someone who mixes like me necessarily. Like, I'm looking for maybe just someone who has like, or like a mix that just has like a really cool sound that's maybe a bit different, but just feels like, someone's had an idea for how to do things a bit differently and like executed it well.
Yeah.
I think that's often the way. Like, I'm trying to build up more of a signature sound. I mean, one thing I want to do in my own mixes is bring in more originals, and I think when we did that Spore Prince release thing, that was fun to do more originals, but I also realized like my originals are not quite like the kind of tunes that I would always want to play, so just trying to do some more like dance floory stuff. And I think that is the hardest part. I mean, whether you make your own tunes or you play other people's tunes, just having a consistent vision which echoes through the whole thing still really works out. Like, you get people feeling it, but it's your thing. And in some ways I think it's even harder when you're playing other people's tunes, but it's definitely still possible. And I guess that's what I'm looking for. And I don't care what it looks like. It could be, I don't know, it could be anything, but
it doesn't, it's not, that's definitely not tied to a genre.
Kind of
I think it's when you
want
feel a soul, really.
Yeah,
I think you can feel a character in it, or
you want to not know what's coming. I want to be surprised. I guess.
Surprises for me, I think it's a sense of humor. Like,
sense of humour.
Yeah, like
I get that as well.
DJ Food and Cold Cut and DK and all the Wheels of Steel type of stuff. That's my favourite. Those were the mixes that I thought, like, I wish I could do. Or Yoda as well. Like, I wish that I could get to that type of place. And technically, choppy, scratchy wise, never. But I do feel like I've got the musical vocabulary now to jump around from, like, be able to play something from the 60s and be able to play something from now. And to me, it does kind of like, it separates DJs from performing music players. If you have a set and that's all you do, and you don't deviate from that. And I know of massive DJs who they will only play to the hour, and even if they get an extra 2 minutes, they are fucked because they don't want to mix anything else in. Also because it's tied in with the light show and stuff. When you get into big mainstream level, I think you can't be as sporadic or spontaneous as a DJ. But I think that really separates the DJs from the music players, is just being able to just go, yeah, I got loads of wicked shit on my USB, we'll find a way and I will entertain you no matter what. And I think that for me is what I'm looking for, where I can feel that, ooh, how on earth did you even come up with that mix? Like, you've done something strange there, or you've bridged two worlds entirely. And that does, to take us right back to Mixmas, that's exactly what you did with certain mixes of yours. And actually it was really cool at Big Love. I don't know if we're going to end with this, maybe, but you played that mix with Hard Noise and Caro. Yeah, I got it right. I remembered. You played that mix.
Ultra Caro now.
Oh, right. Okay. See, I still get it wrong. But afterwards,
it's changed.
Ultra Caro.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I've not listened. The only time I've ever listened to them is in your mix. In that. But afterwards, we were all standing backstage and chatting. I was like, "You did that mix?" He said, "I played that for you." And I was
I actually did, though, because, well, I say that as well because it's a little bit hard to get the timing right. It's a little bit scary on stage. So I was just like, yeah. I know Dave likes this band, so this is the time.
It wasn't lost on me. I wasn't busy gassing to anybody else. I came and filmed it. That was a real moment. And I'll probably cut this bit of the interview with that mix, and it'll be a separate bit of content in itself to help push the word of Fireworks Factory. And I mean, this will be how we wrap this up. What are you excited about in 2026?
Just releasing more music, playing more shows, just seeing where it all goes. Really, I think it's worked out pretty well. Just not trying to sweat the process too much. Just invest myself more in it, I guess, and just want to get a bit faster as well at doing those sort of things.
It's hard though, isn't it, with everything else in life and work and commitments and responsibilities. And that's one thing that I've noticed. Different artists have different energy levels or different passion levels or different space in their life and in their schedule. So sometimes when there's a release, I'm in your pocket all the time and I'm on the phone and I'm messaging, how about this, let's try this, collaborate with this, post this. Some artists have very, very crazy lives that they can't, and so this is another thing of me learning as a label owner. Like, every single artist is going to be more engaged at different points of the release. For some people it's in the build up, for some people it might be a little while after. For some people it's just the very nature of just getting their music out into the world, and that's really all they want to do. They're not worried about Spotify numbers or bookings or anything like that. They just want to explore putting art out into the universe. So I'm kind of getting used to that in terms of energy levels and stuff. And yeah, I really enjoy the process with you and sharing kind of how we're going to promote things, what stories we're going to tell. And that's what I'm looking forward to in 2026, is telling more stories, having more fun and doing more cool shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
more of that, please.
Cool. This has been really nice. I've never done an interview like this where we've been able to study a year of activity, because I don't think there's not been that many artists where I've done so much activity that we can analyse. I've done something with Scartip before, actually, like where we've worked quite closely together, but I'm really glad to be working with you, and I look forward to carrying on working with you. You're fucking awesome. Wicked.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, honestly.
Cool.
It's been so good.
Nice one.
One more thing.